Today I thought I would just show some of my artwork because I don't really talk about it on this channel, but in real life I do art and I sell art, so I don't know, I just thought it would be an interesting thing to do. I'm gonna try to put all of these in order. So my first sketchbook that I ever got when I decided that I wanted to take art seriously, it was something that I believe a family friend or it was something a friend got me or someone that I knew. They just decided to buy it as a gift, and it came with felt tip pens. So I began doing stuff on A4 paper. The paper isn't very fancy. It's just something that, it's just like regular printer paper really. So I first started out doing calligraphy. So what you're seeing right now, it says Heaven's Prayer, which is basically, like I said, I'm quite a big Dragon Quest fan, and it's a reference to Dragon Quest 9. So yeah, a lot of what I was doing was just experimentation at the very start, as you can see on that piece of paper there. I don't actually remember what that was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be a run-on sentence, but I ran out of space. That's Jessica from Dragon Quest 8. As I said, I've always had quite a big obsession with Dragon Quest. So I was 14 at this point in time, just so you know. And that's Aurora from Dragon Quest Heroes 1. Yeah, basically, that's a self-portrait of me, and I think I did this when I was in class. I don't remember, but I don't really like it that much. But yeah, I was just experimenting with felt tip pens at the start, and yeah, a lot of stuff in this book is literally just Dragon Quest work, like most of it, or just video games in general. Like on this page it's Elena and Kirill from Dragon Quest 4, but this is a scene from Dragon Quest Heroes 1. So yeah, basically I was just really obsessed with it at this point in time. Like, yeah, I think that was when the game first came out. I don't remember, but I used to post these drawings on my Instagram and people used to make fun of me for it at school. This is supposed to be Anna from Overwatch. It says you're powered up, get in there. And yeah, she was one of my favorite characters, I think, but my main was Tracer. I think that was me trying to draw the back of someone's head with hair. I think I was trying to draw like a fashion outfit or something, but it failed. That's Orisa from Overwatch. I almost said Dragon Quest, but it's Overwatch. That was with just coloured pencils. It was like these really shitty coloured pencils, but anyway. I believe that's supposed to be like an outline of Sombra, but I never finished it. And that was supposed to be like a mock-up drawing of it as well. That was supposed to be like a flag landing on the moon. I don't know where I was going with that. I think I was gonna cover the whole page in like black felt tip, but I realized that the pen was gonna run out. But yeah, that's basically my first sketchbook ever. Like I said earlier, I used to post a lot of my art on my Instagram. That's all I posted on my page at that point in time, and I used to get made fun of at school for the stuff that I would draw quite a lot by boys and stuff. But yeah, moving on, this is my first professional sketchbook. It's A5. It's Graphic Pro. I've been using Graphic Pro sketchbooks for basically my entire art career. On the back there's like some bubbles in coloured pencil. I believe this is when I started using Faber-Castell pencils and Prismacolor coloured pencils to experiment. But the first thing I drew was a picture of Little Sims. I think this was when she was doing her colours performance, but I was just trying to experiment with like dark skin and coloured pencils because I wasn't very good at doing coloured drawings, I guess. But yeah, if you don't know, I'm a big fan of Little Sims, so it made sense. That was me experimenting with my new pencils. Yeah, like I was just testing out different tones and looking up how to do stuff. This was, I think, my first attempt at drawing. I think it was Madison Beer. I don't know. I think it was. I don't remember if it was her or not. But this was the finished attempt. I think I coloured the sweater in felt tip, and I did the hair with pink Prismacolor, and the rest of it just with regular pencil, and also the eyebrows with felt tip as well. That's how I did black and white work. But that was really the first drawing I did that got people's attention. I think like people started to realize that, oh, she's actually taking this seriously. Like, I used to take my sketchbooks everywhere that I went. So yeah. What else? This is a drawing that I did for, I think her name was Trill Black Girl or Indiona. She had like this art, like this drawing competition where you draw a picture of her, and basically whoever did the best picture won. I kind of remixed it by making her braids blue and like whiting her eyes out and stuff, because I wanted it to be alternative. But I used to get like demon allegations for a lot of stuff that I would draw. Like, I think the date on this one was like September 2017. I think I was in the hospital when I made this because I was depressed or something. I don't remember. But I would just draw stuff that was really like, it got me a lot of like allegations, let's just put it that way. But yeah, I was just experimenting. I think that's the first attempt at drawing one of my friends. Yeah, I did this for my friend, and basically this was my first time experimenting with like bright pinks and stuff, and yeah, she really liked it as well. This is a self-portrait. I think this is my second or third self-portrait, but it's basically me wearing a Supreme top because that was what was popular during the time. And yeah, basically it was like a blend of felt tip and pencils. Yeah, I think that was me practicing how to do noses and stuff. That's a portrait of a singer called Bibi Borelli, but I never finished it. But yeah, it's not really, I don't really like it that much, I guess. This was really the early stages, but yeah, this picture somehow got me into trouble with my parents at the time, because I don't know, they just like, my mum thought there was something wrong with like the mannerisms that she was doing, and that I think I got grounded for drawing this, like what the hell. But anyway, yeah, like I don't understand what the issue is, but anyways, I think that was me experimenting with how to draw like side profiles and stuff. I think this one I did in class. At this point in time, I didn't really know how to blend properly, so everything that I did was really just, was literally just me and my finger. So every time that I would do something, I wouldn't even use like fixative spray, so that's why I would always like bleed onto the paper after a while. But yeah, I don't really like it that much. I don't know. You can't put that on YouTube, so we're gonna move on. That's not safe for YouTube, so we're not gonna post that. Anyways, I believe that is supposed to be my bedroom. I think that was me planning how to redecorate my bedroom. I don't know, but yeah, basically this is just a folder, like a portfolio where I put some of the artwork that I did in my first A4 sketchbook, so that it wouldn't spoil over time. I think this was an Instagram model. I was really obsessed with like thick drawn eyebrows at this point in time, and just the whole like 2017 2016 aesthetic of makeup. So I guess that's kind of what I was going for here. This is when it started to really get me a lot of attention with my art. Like, people would always sort of crowd around me to look at what I was doing, and that's supposed to be a picture of Kehlani, but I feel like I didn't do her face proportionately, but I really loved that image at that point in time. So yeah, that was a commission. I don't know how comfortable I feel posting that on YouTube, but that was a commission that they never bought because they were fraudulent. But anyways, this was someone from my school. I don't know how comfortable they feel with me posting that, but yeah. That's supposed to be Jimin from BTS, because I was really into BTS at the time. So a lot of what I drew at this point in time was literally just K-pop. Again, it was like everyone thought it was really cringe that I did that, but yeah, this is me experimenting. I don't remember the name of this model, but this picture was viral once upon a time. Not my drawing, but the actual like reference photo, which is why I drew it, because I just thought it was interesting. So yeah, yeah, this is my first actual sketchbook, like A4. Again, that's another picture of my friend. I did her in color, and this was my first time doing it in black and white because I wanted to do realism, even though I came in it with the idea of like calligraphy or cartoons. That's Taeyoung from BTS, and like I said earlier, I was really into it. You can kind of see it's a little bit stained because I didn't ever use like the right appliances at the time, like fixative spray. A lot of stuff in here is literally just unfinished pictures. There's quite a lot of influence from black culture or just black women because, yeah, like that's part of my heritage of it. It just made sense, right? I think that's just me freestyling. Again, another picture of Taeyoung. I was really obsessed at this point in time. I think that's not black and white though. That was actually with like a white colored pencil, which is why the texture looks a little bit different. I wanted it to look like the other influences, but it kind of flopped. So I think this one is a celebrity. I forgot her name. I think it's like Ryan something. I forgot, but I never finished it. I think this was around December 2017. I don't remember that well, but this picture was of an influencer, and I drew this person quite a few times because throughout my art career, most of my work is literally just pretty girls that I found on Pinterest. This is one of my favorite early drawings. I don't know why, it just looks so cute, and at this point I stopped trying to do like full portraits of like torso, and I just went to doing hands and face because that was my thing. And then I think for this one I just decided to go back to doing something else because I didn't know how to, I don't know. I was just trying to experiment with contrasts and stuff. This is the same girl from a second ago. It's got a quote that says, "I'm so sick of this fake love," because it's again a BTS lyric at the time. That it dropped in 2018, so it makes sense. That's one of my favorites just for the way that I blended it, because I think at this point I started using like cotton buds to blend instead of my finger. A lot of art teachers say that it's bad to do that, to like use your fingers, but there's not really any rules to it, I guess. So yeah. My next sketchbook, I think this is my second sketchbook that I used whilst I was still in year 11. It was like a personal one, it wasn't my portfolio, but I was literally playing around with different contrasts. Like I wanted it to be a lot more like black and white looking because I wasn't happy with the grayscale of it being like low contrasts. So I don't remember if I started using mechanical pencils at this point. That's another picture of my friend. Yeah, like she really liked all these pictures. I didn't finish this one though. It was at the time where Snapchat filters were really popular. I guess you could say a lot of my early work is like Instagram art. These models, I think I just found them on Pinterest and I just went with that. I think this was my first attempt at doing a white person's skin, and it's very difficult to draw pale skin. and I didn't know how hard it is to draw their features either. I find drawing black features to be a lot easier than it is to draw white features, which is very odd because a lot of people say that they actually find black features harder to draw, which I don't know why people say that, but for me personally, whenever I've drawn like people of just paler skin tones or just white people, it's for me, I found it to be a lot more advanced. I don't know why, but yeah, I think I was trying to learn how to do the flowy, like, I forgot what it's called. Yeah, anyway, that's more of that, as you can see. I was trying to learn how to draw it, like, without taking my pencil off of the page. Yeah, basically, I think that's Love Yourself, Her, or Tear. I'm not as into K-pop as I used to be, so yeah, man, like, a lot of my stuff is unfinished in my sketchbooks. Like, most of what I post is like 10% of what I post online is finished work, and 90% of what's in my sketchbook is unfinished. So that's that. I think we're going into mid 2018 now, so I don't know what that is on the back of that, but anyway. I've tried to put this in as the best chronological order as I can. I did this spontaneously, I think during the early hours of the morning when I was like 15, and I really didn't like it. I think I had art block really bad, so I just tore it up and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. The other one is supposed to be, I think her name is like Me Love Me a Lot. Yeah, I never posted either of those. That's not me. That's not me. That's just me playing around with different facial features. I was trying to do like drawings that were just outlines because I wanted it to look cool. I wanted to do something a little bit different by putting like blue stars above her head to do like both color and black and white. So yeah, there's a lot of dirt and dust that's left on these pages, so I have to apologize. It's ancient, like it's very old. This is the same girl again. I think, no, I've drawn her like 4 times. I never finished that. I don't think I intended to, but like I said, a lot of this stuff is literally just me playing with outlines, because sometimes it's like I don't want to start shading because I feel like the outline sometimes looks better than the finished result. So that was my motivation behind that. Oh no, it's the same girl again. I don't know why I drew her so many times, but I don't like this picture very much. I think it's just how dark it is. I think these are all copies. When I was in year 11, I did art GCSE, and I never showed up to class because I was going through my own personal stuff, and I always skipped class and I barely passed my exams. So my teacher saw all the personal art that I was making, and she told me to rip it out of my sketchbook and photocopy it and put it into my portfolio. And because of the standard of my work at the time, she gave me, I think I just scraped a pass, but if I hadn't done any of this in my personal life, I would have failed. So yeah, I kind of low-key saved myself with that. But yeah, I think this girl reposted my work. I think her name is Chelsea Worthy, or just Worthy. And yeah, this is when I was kind of doing like just hands and face. I didn't really like the whole aesthetic of the whole torso. I think this is another person called Hannah Musette. I think I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, I hope so. But yeah, I was really fascinated with like afros and just black features because you know how it is. But anyway, This is a girl called Jasmina Banks, and she's reposted my work quite a few times throughout the years. She really liked this picture, and I think even years after I posted it, she still would support my page and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I really like unique features, and yeah, I don't think I drew a single man at this point in time. That's supposed to be Scissor with like a third eye and like smoke around her mouth. I was just doing some like weird spiritual stuff, I don't know. But yeah, oh wait, speaking of which, this is the only guy I think that I ever drew. This was one of my classmates in school, and I think I got clowned or laughed at by some people for making this picture because they thought that I had a crush on him or that I liked him. But he asked me to make the artwork for him. He literally hit me up to make the photo, and then when I posted the photo that I finished, people acted like I was obsessed with the person. Like, it's not like that, bro. It's called a commission. I think this was like July 2018. Pretty much. The woman saw it, but I never finished it, so yeah, she was anticipating it for no reason, I guess. That's Kaylani again, but in like just face and hands form this time. I don't know why I put an aeroplane over her head. I think it was based on a song. This was a commission that I did for someone who I don't think they're even still on Instagram anymore, but yeah, they really liked it and it got me quite a little bit of attention, so I guess it paid off. And oh, the back of the book literally just fell off, so yeah, that's how old these are. Like, it's literally just a mess. But you could say it's dirty, but it could also just be symbolic of how much time has passed, and it's almost like vintage, I guess. Moving on, we have another broken sketchbook. As you can see, I wrote my name in white pen. I think that's supposed to be Posca pens. I was trying to do something with highlights. I was trying to get this highlight effect with like a felt white pen, but I ended up not liking it that much. I only used it for a little bit. So I think on the left side is Hannah Musette again, and then the bottom is Winnie Harlow, but it wasn't my best effort. So I don't know, I think I was just doing that in college during lunchtime or something, because I did art in college as well. I really liked Afro puffs and stuff, so I was sort of leaning into that a little bit more. That is supposed to be Jungkook and J-Hope from BTS. A lot of people on Twitter said that Jungkook looked like Jimin, or that I didn't draw him to favor Jungkook that much. I don't know. I didn't finish J-Hope, but both of them were my biases at the time. This is an Instagram model called Kenza, or 6Kenza. She saw this and she reposted it, and it got me so much attention, so much commissions, and so many followers that I was very busy for quite a bit at that point in time. But yeah, that's all that's in that one really. If you see these weird jump cuts in the video, it's because I'm trying to put it in the most accurate timeline as possible. This was around December 2018, just before New Year's. That's Taehyung from BTS again, hence the Christmas trees above his head, because I was trying to go for like a Christmas New Year's vibe. And then that's another self-portrait on the side of myself. I never finished it. I don't know, I think I was just running out of ideas at this point, because I was doing art in college, so it was just kind of like, it was really difficult to think of stuff to do within my free time, in my art life, I guess, outside of school. So it's literally, I think this one was literally just me messing around. This whole sketchbook was just me fooling around with stuff. This is like a bigger portrait of a woman that I didn't finish, and on the next page is a smaller version because I was trying to adapt and make my artwork bigger, but I don't think I was developed enough to be able to execute it, so I went back to doing it smaller, and that worked for me, and it didn't take as much time either. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm just really fascinated by black models or figures, to be honest. Like, that's really just been my MO this whole time. That's on the right, I think that's an outline of Lil Yaz or Yasmin, and on the left is a portrait of a person that doesn't exist. So yeah, basically that's an outline of Nicki Minaj on the left, but on the right is Khalid. I think this was around the time where he was starting to get popular, or just like after his debut or something, I don't know. But yeah, people really like this one. I think this was the most realistic picture that I'd done at the time. If you see weird cuts in this video, it's because some of the work in my book is commission work of people's children, and I don't know how comfortable I feel posting that without their permission. So that's a picture of Naruto, and that's Little Sims again. Little Sims saw this picture and she reposted it on her page and told me that she thought the picture was dope. This was in mid 2019, and yeah, I'm really proud of that moment because she's one of my favorite female rappers. I've been listening to her for like 10 years. Like, I watched her whole come up and stuff, so it's just really cool to have interactions like that. This is a model called Salem Mitchell, I think. I was really interested in the braids and the freckles and stuff, and you'll see later, or in my thumbnail, I'm just really obsessed with unique features like that. I just think it's really cool. This took me a really long time, believe it or not. I think I stayed up all night doing that one. That was supposed to be like this weird experimental phase that I had. It was supposed to be a kid reading a newspaper with like some weird propaganda or some shit. I don't remember. It was like this really corny, cringe thing. I had these magazines lying around my old house, and it was like these 2000s black hair magazines of like different hairstyles and stuff. It was like, I basically took inspiration from that and tried to draw something based on that, and it turned out pretty well because I didn't want to just keep using Pinterest stuff, so I found stuff that was inside my house, like just really old, forgotten about things, I guess. That was another one from the magazines. That I had dozens of magazines just lying around of just like black hair care and stuff. It's pretty cool. I moved from A4 to A3 sketchbooks, but it's not depicted in this video because I don't have the sketchbook on me anymore, because when I moved out of where I used to previously live, or a few houses ago, I had to like basically leave it behind. I had no space for it. I only had 2 suitcases, so you know. On the left side is this like fashion mock-up of an outfit that I was wearing, because that's supposed to be me, and I actually wore an outfit like this in real life. I don't know if I have the picture, but it's supposed to be like based on a fashion idea that I had. And on the right side is Koriko from Facebreakers, and if you don't know who that is, it's from this really niche Xbox game that no one plays. But anyway, this was around the start of 2022. I just started drawing like little models of like fashion people in kind of like an anime style, but in color, and I would like make my own outfits, and I would put bullet points with like a bag to match on the side and stuff, because I've always been really into fashion. So that's basically the explanation behind that. I was just really into it, and I don't know if you want to pause to read or if I put enough time for you to all read it, but yeah. On the next page it's kind of like the same thing. I actually do like this one a lot. When I first made it, I hated it, but looking back, I actually really like the inspiration. It says that I did an odd hairstyle because I'm overcompensating for the terrible outfit, which is what I was referring to when I said I didn't like it, but I actually do. It grew on me. So yeah, I was just making like stuff inspired by something. I think this dress is actually something that exists in real life, and I just took inspo from that. But I added like matching bags and stuff. I just thought it was really cool. It's not in order. I don't know why the time is going like backwards in this book. I think because I ran out of space or something. This is supposed to be a style boutique template. So like I think, yeah, like the model template or the clothes exist inside that game. It's a DS game. But yeah, I basically made an outfit around that idea using colored pencils. But yeah, is that safe for YouTube? I don't know if you can even put that on there. I don't know what my reasoning behind that was, but we're gonna move on now. Anyways, that is a self-portrait that I did in 2023. It's just supposed to be me in like this like cartoon design. This was when I grew my afro out like all the way, but I did a big chop like a couple of months after that. And I can't post that on YouTube either. That's, yeah, anyway, that's that sketchbook. I didn't realize that I had so many pictures of just, anyway, moving on. When I was homeless, I just drew this. It was like, I don't know, I just had this random idea of doing something. This is another self-portrait of me. My signature changed at this point in time because it's just, yeah. Anyway, I was trying to get back into drawing because I kind of took a little break from it. Again, that's more self-portraits. And that's a cat with like a cat's eye and a cat's mouth yawning. I just really like animals. I love Maine Coon cats. This was 2024, by the way. But I just really like cats and pets. I like animals more than I like people. This was a random hibiscus flower that I drew, and I just put it in a pink frame because the frame was meant to go to someone else, but they decided to snake me, so they ain't getting the frame no more. But anyway, yeah, I think that's called 4 Candies pencils, and it comes with like a set of, you know what, I'm actually not going to explain because I'm not sponsored. So I went from using A3 sketchbooks to A2. This was around the pandemic, but I know that this isn't in order, but I wanted to put it in order of size as well. So yeah, this is a picture of the Beatles that I did. People really liked this one, and I don't really think about my own art like that though, because usually when my process of making stuff is that I will spend like a week doing something and I'll put it out, and after spending like a week of obsessing over it, after I've put the work out, I won't think about it or even look at it ever again. I don't even look at my own page. But anyway, that's supposed to be like a outline of Basquiat that I was doing. I never finished the drawing though. That was a picture of Shock G, which is a member of Digital Underground. He's the man that discovered Tupac, and his other group member, Money B, saw my picture of Shock G and started following me and told me how much he liked it. This is a picture that I did of Big Daddy Kane, and he actually saw this picture and he's been following me for years now, and he reposted it and he sees my work a lot, and you know, yeah, it's just it's an honor really. As you can see, I've kind of started to go darker with my pencils. Like, the reason I switched to mechanical is because I wanted that deep black effect. I didn't like it just being too grey, you know. This is a picture of a Japanese fashion model called Hiroko Matsumoto, and yeah, as you can see, I was going for more of a black and white effect as opposed to just, I don't know, I wanted it to look more like photographic. It was going from like creative to sort of like photographic at this point in time. This is a picture of Jackie Robinson. I just like drawing things that pertain to Black history, or you know, things like that. I just find that to be very significant for me, I guess. I've always felt that way. So This is a picture of Nicki Minaj, and this might be one of my favorite A2 drawings, but overall, yeah, the fur texture, I don't know how I worked out that I was going to do that. Like, initially I was going to use a feather technique with my pencil, but I decided to use like this negative space technique where I would like blend it with like, I would like blend and do shadows, and then I would create the fur texture by rubbing out in lines. And I just thought that was really dope, so that's what I went with there, with like the Barbie chain and stuff. She never saw it, unfortunately, but yeah. This is a picture of MF Doom, because I'm a very huge fan of MF Doom's music. I think this was around Christmas 2022. It took me a very long time, and I kept getting like lead on my wrist because of how much I was pushing down on the paper with the black. That's Naomi Campbell, and yeah, like there's what is there to say? Like, she's a legendary supermodel. I'm just really into fashion. I'm really into just incorporating different parts of what I'm interested in into my work. So, you know, I'm into fashion and modeling and style and just drawing pretty girls, I guess, so why not? That's supposed to be Azealia Banks, and I don't know why I said supposed to be, it is Azealia Banks, but this is one of my favorite drawings that I've ever done because of the way that I did the shine on the image. The fingers took me such a long time because they were like, I think they were like oiled up or something, and just doing the wrinkles and everything, it was just so intricate, but it's one of my favorite pictures. I don't know why, but on camera it doesn't look as good as in person. This is a picture of Herbie Hancock. I really love Herbie Hancock, and I've been listening to his music ever since I was a little child. Like, I think the first thing that I ever listened to from him was his album Future to Future. This is a drawing of Maria Callas. That's a drawing of Maria Callas. Like I said, drawing like paler skin tones, it's a lot harder for me to draw. This is supposed to be a picture of Elizabeth Taylor, and yeah, pretty much that's my sketchbook. That's my last A2 sketchbook, and everything else that you'll see will be work that's framed. So we have a picture here of Doechii, who I did this in October of 2024, so this was before she blew up and before the world really knew who she was like that. The reason that I did the picture is she's from Tampa. She's from Tampa, Florida, and I have a lot of stories to tell from Tampa, Florida. I visited Tampa last year, and I have a lot of things to remember about that place, a lot of memories, I guess. So if you look really closely, you can see like the small little textures of like the skirt seam, which I just think is really a really nice detail that I added. This is a self-portrait of me. This is my first A2 self-portrait, and this is something that I did whilst I was homeless. Basically, it's based off of a picture of myself that I took, but I kind of remixed it and changed it a bit. And so I wanted it to be me with like no clothes on, but with an orchid like plant covering my chest. Like, I made it for the sole purpose of an art contest. I believe it was the Cass Art Prize in 2024, and it had like a £10,000 reward. Someone else got it, and it's a shame, but I put a lot of effort into it because I didn't even have like, when I was homeless, I didn't even have a room. So I had to go into someone else's room and just sit on the floor. The next one that we have is a portrait of Tyler, the Creator. I did this in, I think, around March, April. No, I think it was mid 2023. And I drew it because, one, I'm a big fan of Tyler's music, and two, because the picture where he had his grills out, I was really interested in doing a study surrounding like teeth, and I wanted to see how well I could emulate that in a drawing. Lastly, we have a drawing that I did in around September 2023 of a model called Ralph Souffront, and he's known for having like these really cool freckles and unique features and stuff, and he's seen my picture, and it's one of it. I think this is my favorite picture of all time, and a lot of people who have seen this say that it's my best work as well. For some reason, I've always felt like I've had a spiritual connection to art, because I don't know what it is, but every time I've made a drawing, something in my life would shift like a month or so later. And it's like this really weird thing. I feel like in some ways I manifest in the form of creativity or like drawing. And sometimes I feel like that's why it's so hard for me to start new projects that aren't commissions, like personal stuff. Like usually I'll take long breaks between posting something that's personal, and I'll just like be in the background working on commissions. So yeah, whenever I take time out to actually do something for myself, it's like I enter a new chapter of my life. Yeah, like every picture that I do, it kind of has a long story to tell. It's like I've kind of always felt like my art is like my personal time capsule. I can look at a piece of work and immediately I can remember exactly what I was going through during that time, and exactly what happened and what was going through my head, and then what changed afterwards. And so in a way I kind of use art to manifest now. That's pretty much all I have to say, to be honest. This video took me a lot longer than I thought it would. That was my art transformation over the last 7 to 8 years. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know about your art journeys, and let me know what your favorite one is in my video. What is your favorite work of mine? That would be really great. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop now.